naam. Die ou in die hoed wat al die skuld geneem het. Arme ou Jan met sy Nederlandse oosvloed, vestig winkel op 'n straat.
You guys hear that okay?
Die ANC het 'n gunsteling reël gehad. As dinge verkeerd loop, is dit 'n Jan gemaakte omweg. Want die moenie trek door die wenners, parade, elke enkele skuld was 'n prys wat Jan betaal het voor koor.
Arme Jan.
O, die geskiedenisboeke kry rus. Ons het 'n nuwe ou gevind om op die proef te stel. Sit die portret weg. Bære die ou veerpunt. Daar is 'n splinternuwe skak vir die politieke wetsontwerp. Koor, ons verruil die Jankaart vir 'n trumpkaart. Dis die blinknuwe manier om die Blamswil hard te speel, gaan die krag uit, is die pad vol gate. Moenie na die begroting of die kieserspelings kyk nie, draai net daar die kaart om, sien die goue hare, die dom is die rede vir die slytasie, ja, ons verruil vandag die Jankaart vir 'n trumpkaart. Die infrastruktuur verkrummeld, die krane loop leeg. Maar moenie vra hoe,
moenie vra
hoekom?
Moenie vra hoekom?
Die jare van dieselfde ou groep. Die oranje man en Desie kom vir jou. Ongelykheid styg tussen Mar-a-Lago komplot.
Mar-a-Lago
Hy is so
komplot.
gemeen en boos, glo dit of nie. Die oorspronklike gangster is uit, want Jan van Riebeeck is nie meer moordnieuws nie. Reg is die nuwe sondeboek. Die vars allebei. Wanneer die beloftes in 'n leuen verander, koers sluit aan. Amerika is gemeen, die wêreld is so koud. Dis die beste storie wat nog ooit vertel is. Kry jou kaart, speel jou deel, gitaar, sing dit is solo. Ons wil die Jankaart vir 'n trumpkaart. Dis die blinknuwe manier om die Blamswil hard te speel, gaan die krag uit, dis die pad vol gate. Moenie na die begroting of die kieserspelings kyk nie, draai net daar die kaart om, sien die goue hare, die dom is die rede vir die slytasie, ja, ons wil vandag die Jankaart vir 'n trumpkaart. Ons wil die Jankaart, tot ziens Jan.
Tot ziens, Jan.
Hallo Don.
Hallo Don.
Dis nou alles sy skuld. Elke liewe bietjie daarvan.
Tot ziens, Jan.
Kyk na die kaart, baba. Laaste vonkel in die sandblokkie.
All right. Trading in the Jan card for a trump card. Welcome back to the program, folks. It's Night Owls, live from Rochester, Minneapolis. No, Rochester, New York. And there's one in Minnesota too, by the way. That's where the Mayo Clinic is at, Rochester, Minnesota. This is Rochester, New York. Why is it not going on? Come on, play nice here. There we go. Got it. You should be able to hear me okay now. How's the sound? You guys good with that? Okay. So yeah, so I'm in Rochester, New York. Came up here to see refugees, answer Courtney's question directly. So what happened in Minneapolis is a federal crime. It's a felony conviction, and Don Lemonhead should be arrested. They need to send a SWAT team to his house and arrest him, just like they did for the peaceful protesters who stood outside a murder clinic, also known as a reproduction rights or, abortion clinic in Philadelphia a couple years ago. They sent a SWAT team on a Sunday to embarrass him and shock people as they arrested him in front of his dozen children. Scumbags, fascist Nazi regime of the the Biden regime, when all they had to do was just tell him to come in and turn himself in. They let the scumbag who assaulted him after beating on his 10-year-old kid, that guy was allowed to turn himself in. It is time for a SWAT team to descend upon Don Lemonhead and lock him up in Guantanamo or somewhere nice like that. All the people that went into that church are felons. They should all be arrested and convicted. It's trespassing. They are idiots. They need to be given a basic class in civics and the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't give you the right to protest. The Constitution doesn't give you the right to demonstrate anywhere you want. You have to have permission, and you must do it lawfully. They had neither. The Constitution, Don Lemon had tried to say amidst the video where he exposed himself as saying they were trying to make people uncomfortable, which means they were trying to intimidate them. The FACE Act of 1994 expressly prohibits the intimidation of people at houses of worship, whether it's a mosque, a synagogue, or a church. This is legislation introduced by Democrats, Senator Ted Kennedy, signed by Democratic Congress, and approved by a Democratic president. And here we are 32 years later, and we've got scumbags on the left who don't know what civics is, have never read the Constitution, and run around spouting the Constitution as if they actually know what they're talking about. These are dangerous felons. They must be arrested. You see them on the streets of Minneapolis beating a guy up senseless, knocking him out, and they go, wait, he's one of us. So it's okay to assault people as long as they're not one of your leftist hatreds. President Trump is once again failing America. That's what I said, failing America. There is an insurrection on the streets of Minneapolis. Jacob Small Fry, and Timmy Walsh should be in leg irons, currently being arraigned for criminal conduct, for sedition, and for inspiring insurrection. They have broken federal law, and they are part of the problem. And all these people in the streets need to be tear gassed, zip-tied, transported, arraigned, prosecuted, convicted, and if they're guilty of insurrection, executed, if that's under the law. But the bottom line here is this is unacceptable. We had the same thing in summer 2020. President Trump is being too tolerant of this. The Insurrection Act should have been invoked a week ago, at least in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. These are lawless people. The police force in Minneapolis needs to be disbanded and start from scratch. These people are not worthy of the uniform. You cannot accept unlawful orders from your mayor. If your mayor is keeping you from standing up for this, you must disobey those orders. Those are not lawful orders telling you to ignore public disruption and danger to the public. This is unacceptable. Maybe Trump should leave Minnesota alone in peace. No, Minnesota is not a peace dog. So there's an insurrection there, just like there was in Seattle in the summer of 2020. The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone was an insurrection against the United States authority. Those people should be in federal prison on this day. And the people in Minneapolis belong in federal prison as well. And I just passed the Federal Corrections Center in Allenwood here in Pennsylvania. Lots of room for these little scumbags to come here in Pennsylvania and sit in prison where they belong. So, Courtney, does that answer your question? This is unacceptable. I've been arguing about this for more than a week. How much longer are we going to tolerate these people beating people, idiots driving down the street, stealing cameras, attacking people in the street, lunatics, yelling at some guy just walking down the street, calling him ICE and calling him sick names? That's right. Even the judge who told Menendez, whatever her name was, who told ICE they could not use lawful means of crowd control, CS riot gas, against unlawful demonstrations, it has blood on her hands and should be impeached for her actions. What is happening in Minnesota? I want to see little stolen valor. Timmy Walsh, the coward who cowered and backed out of his role when he should have been leading his troops in Iraq, the little wuss who backed out, his stolen valor when he lied to a state trooper in Iowa, pulled over because he was a drunk-ass prick on the highway. And when he couldn't pass a field sobriety test, said, well, it's because I have a combat injury, I have inner ear injury, and I have imbalance issues. Lying, SOB, no record of that whatsoever. He lied to get out of a DUI. This is a piece of scum that has no right to be considered a veteran. He obliterated that by lying about that. Unbelievable nonsense. It's just this is despicable what is happening. This is an armed insurrection in the streets of Minneapolis. And the cold doesn't even stop these morons. You think it might slow them down. I know what will slow them down. You want to know what will happen? You know what it's time for? It's time to bring fire trucks and water cannons in. Hose their asses down. Hose their asses down. That's not deadly force. When they're soaked in -0 weather, they won't stay out there very long now, will they? When they assault law enforcement, they assault independent journalists, hose their asses down. Bring a hose and just soak their asses, and we'll see how long they last. Yep, that's what they need to do. Water cannons. They work in South Africa. They work even better in sub-zero temperatures. They work really big wonders. And so that's what's going on there. Oh, I don't know about paid protesters, the crime, but yeah, this is what's going on. How was the rest of your day? I did speak to them, but nobody was up for an interview tonight, which is a shame because they had an ideal spot to do it downstairs. The water sounds a good idea. Make them human popsicles. That's exactly right. Make them human popsicles. In fact, we can use colored water. We can turn the water blue or turn the water red, and we can just identify communist, socialist, Democrat. Turn them into human popsicles. Let them figure that one out. Yep. I mean, any moron that brings an infant to a insurrection really needs their head checked. Really needs their head checked. They're going to get a child killed, and scarring your children. Seeing this lunacy is beyond the pale. And Dogzilla, I don't want to hear this. Went with the state of Minnesota. They have every right to be in Minnesota. The Supremacy Clause of the Constitution gives the federal government the right to be there. Who do these people think they are? Confederate, racist Confederates trying to defend slavery? Is that what's going on here? Well, apparently they are. They're racist Democrats trying to defend pedos and rapists and murderers. It's unbelievable. And none of this would be necessary if the police in Minneapolis, St. Paul, had simply followed the law. And when ICE sent a retainer asking for them to transfer these felons in their custody to ICE peacefully, none of this would be necessary. 1,365 felons, convicted felons in the custody of the Minneapolis St. Paul Police Department, released 478 of them into the streets. No, the embassy is not open on Monday. It's closed. It's a federal holiday, Martin Luther King Day. You're saying today, well, that's because it's tomorrow morning for you. It's still Monday for me. Martin Luther King Day is a federal holiday. The embassy will be closed. On Tuesday, the embassy will be open. Why do you ask? The embassy has nothing to do with your refugee program. Do you have some other need to go to the embassy? Do you have to go to consulate for a visa or something? Otherwise, it has no bearing on you. The embassy has nothing to do with the refugee program. It's not the embassy doing it. I'm tired of this, just like I was tired of this crap in in 2020. This armed insurrection took place in Seattle. And at the time, they said, well, what are we going to do? I told you what to do. Turn off the natural gas, turn off the electricity, turn off the water, and block the cell phone signals around the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. In a matter of days, these little sick leftist puppies who can't tweet and Instagram will come out crying in their beer, and they'll be out very short order. Instead, they left it run for weeks. An armed insurrection in the state of Washington, the city of Seattle, an armed insurrection. And what did we learn? That lawlessness is rewarded. Correct. Yep. Hey, George, what's going on? Yeah, Dusty, what do you need the embassy for? They're not open. And they're not processing you anyway for refugees. Sorry. Freaking Chipotle got a piece of that stuck in my mouth there. So, yeah, no, this is unacceptable. It was unacceptable in 2020, and Trump tolerated it. And, if he's going to threaten Denmark over Greenland, can he not threaten the insurrectionist in chief, Timmy Waltz, and his little butt boy, Small Fry Jacob? Can he not discuss them? Yeah. Anyway, so I think I've addressed that pretty well. Let's move on to the refugees in Rochester. Oh, other business embassy? Then you're good, Dusty. You're good. You're good. Good news. It should be open today. Thank you. That's why I asked, because most people are on about the refugee thing. So it's good to know it's not about that. So yes, you probably have legitimate reason to be there. Anyway, so the refugees, I met with 6 refugees here in Rochester. I understand there's another family, they weren't able to make it. And then also a South African who lives in the area, who has been helping some of the refugees. Yeah, the concept of sanctuary cities has always been unlawful. It's no different than the Confederacy declaring its independence. No different. Yeah, when will Tim Waltz be arrested? I hate Seattle. Who said I hate Seattle? Good Lord, Dogzilla. Where are you inferring that from? Where are you inferring that? But you just make stuff up in thin air. I hate Seattle. No, I hate criminals. I don't hate Seattle. Seattle's a lovely place built on top of a woodpile. Absolutely. And it's the birthplace of Starbucks, which is a company I've invested in for 20 years. So hate Seattle? No. I don't care for the Supersonics or the Seahawks, but I do like the Kraken. I don't hate Seattle. Where do you get that from, man? Without all the increasing Trump craziness. Well, then you shouldn't be living in Seattle, because that's an epicenter of it. Wait, it's coming there too, just like it is in Minneapolis. And there's nothing Trump here. See, I love this, how leftists, confuse the Constitution with Trump. Trump has nothing to do with the Constitution. We were here before Trump, and we'll be here after Trump. Those of us adhere to the rule of law and respect and support and defend the Constitution. This lawlessness is unconstitutional. This lawlessness is an insurrection. It has nothing to do with Trump. If Obama was in office, I'd say the same damn thing. I said it when Biden was in office. It's ironic to see the left, how they have collective memory loss. You remember, now they talk about, any attack on Jews and blame it on Republicans when they're in power. When they attack Jews and they're not in power, they have nothing to say. The anti-Semitic attacks have taken place in New York against Jews and all around the country at the behest of Democrats over the past year. They've had nothing to say about it. But oh my goodness, a Pittsburgh synagogue blows up and the guy had nothing to do with Trump and they blamed it on right-wing conservatives. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah, interesting. It doesn't blow up. The guy shot it by Rochester. I think of the Jack Benny show. Oh yeah, that's what I said before, Courtney. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Rochester, Mr. Bennett. Rochester. Yeah, I love Jack Benny. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. So I said I think the same thing. I always think of Rochester from Jack Benny. But yeah, there's a Rochester, Minnesota, which is where the Mayo Clinic is at, one of the most famous medical institutions on the planet. If you can step foot in the UAE territory as an illegal immigrant, it becomes almost impossible to remove you. Sanctuary cities just seem to play the same role. Exactly. The Constitution started during Washington's term. That's correct. Yep. So it's been in effect since, it was drafted in 1787. Yep. Hey, sleepless in Seattle. No, I was never sleepless in Seattle. I had good times out there, but unfortunately, Dogzilla can't differentiate between legitimate commentary and his obsession with Donald Trump. And what are you talking about Trump? Other than I said, Trump is letting the country down. See, you notice that I criticized Trump, but Dogzilla didn't recognize. He said Trump craziness. See, I love that. He comes in here and he says this Trump craziness. What Trump craziness? I criticize the president for not doing anything, which is more than Trump is doing. And he's like, anyway, whatever. The logic of the left makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I criticize Trump and they call me a MAGA guy. I don't criticize Trump. They call me a MAGA guy. You can't win with these lunatics. It's absolutely crazy. The political left make no sense whatsoever. They've got their head so far up their backside. It's unbelievable. I think most of them are smelling their nose. Anyway, that didn't make sense, smelling their nose. Anyway, yeah, so I'm trading in the Yan card for a Trump card. No, their logic will never make sense, Charles. Never, ever make sense. It's crazy. So, yeah, what is happening in Minneapolis is a crime. And what happened in that church is a felony. The law was introduced by Senator Ted Kennedy, a demon rat from Massachusetts. And Senator Kennedy got that thing passed in a Democratic Congress, signed by Democratic President Bill Clinton, that made it a federal felony to obstruct or intimidate anyone at an abortion clinic or a house of worship. Funny how they've forgotten that, at a house of worship. Because the FACE Act, which is what it's called, means that Don Lemonhead and all the scumbags who invaded that church need to go. And funny, imagine if a bunch of white dudes went to a mosque and interrupted a mosque like that. Can you imagine? Oh my God, they'd be melting down. They would be melting down right now. But these people can walk in a Christian church, insult Christians, just like the Muslims in the UK who can just, do what they want to do and just tromp all over Christianity, go to the Church of England grounds, drop to the ground and desecrate the ground with their faith, praying on Christian ground. And no comment. But if you're a British citizen and you carry a Union Jack and you're across the street from a bunch of illegal Muslims that entered your country, you're imprisoned. There's no free speech in the United Kingdom. And there's an effort to stamp out free speech in South Africa. Once again, they're looking very hard at censoring the internet. They're calling it getting it under the Communications Act, but it's nonsense. They're trying to censor content creators because they can't handle the truth and they can't handle criticism. And it's coming once again, just like Bella, just like NHI, just like all the other communist efforts to undermine the safety and security of South Africa. It is ridiculous beyond belief. I've been talking about this for a long time, about how South Africa is undermining U.S. national interests. And now people are starting to notice it. If they're guilty, you hope they cancel their contract and give it to a deserving vendor. Well, I don't know that they're guilty, but I'm telling you that what I heard tonight looks very bad for Church World Services. And since they are refusing to contact me and respond to my messages, my polite, respectful messages to them, this is part of the problem. I would show you in here, but the damn thing, I can't get to it because I'm locked out of my, let me see if I can find another way to get into my email. Hang on a second here. I can hear a snowplow out there. Got hit with about 3 or 4 inches of snow here earlier. It was crazy. It's going to make me come up with some other thing to sign in here. I don't want to push notifications. Send it to me to give me a text message. Here we go. All right, so we get a text message here. Calfee is removed. Hang on a second. Should be able to get in my mail now. Okay. Not now. I don't want to use fingerprints. Gosh, I hate that. Okay, I'm in my mail. That's good. What was I looking for in my mail? Credit Karma, complex taxes. I'm working my taxes. Why do I want to come in here? Oh, I forget now. Shoot. Church World Services. Well, Courtney, I will, but my experience with Church World Services is probably going to be limited to me standing in a snow-covered street outside reporting that their offices are closed and they only take you by appointment. So let me contrast this, folks, with the refugee agency in Twin Falls. Let me see what the refugee agency, Twin Falls, refugee agency, Twin Falls. Refugee Center, there it is. Twin Falls Refugee Center. I think that's the one. Let me see. Come on, I said click on that. There we go. Yep, that's the place. It's the CIS, U.S. Committee on Refugees and Immigrants in Twin Falls, Idaho. Let me tell you something about that. That is a welcoming place. And I explained to the refugees here tonight. So they don't get any answers to their phone calls. They don't get any interaction with their case officer, most of them. And they can't even go there for services. But what's supposed to happen is a refugee assistance center is this place where, like in Twin Falls, the door was open on a Friday. I went there. Cara took me there. We walked in the door. She introduced me to them and told them that I've been advocating for South Africans and covering this story. And I thanked them for the work they're doing for Cara and for the Hudsenberg family. And Cara said, can I show them around? They let me see the place. I saw the room where they were doing pottery and they're doing knitting, and then the kids' playroom. And I saw little handprints and then drawing and art that the kids put up in different languages, in Farsi and Tagalog and Urdu and Arabic and all these other languages. And then I saw a training room, and I was shown everything there. I was welcomed there with open arms. I'm not even a refugee. That's what a refugee center is supposed to be, a place where you get help and assistance. Twin Falls people are amazing. Hey, Charles, you left Rochester. You're out there now, aren't you? For the most part, they're very good people, help you with everything, the phone. They follow up almost daily. That is in stark contrast to what I'm discovering here. From my personal experience as a member of the media, I contacted Church World Service last year, twice, a couple months apart, to their main office in Indiana and asked for information and to contact them. They never answered my questions. They ignored me, so I paid no attention to them. But the situation has grown quite dire here in Rochester, at least from what the refugees said. I spoke to them, and their concerns do not seem even remotely out of order. They seem to be perfectly well suited. But last week, I sent an email to this refugee center. It was ignored. This past week, I called this refugee center here, the agent specifically, and their office. Both calls were ignored, not returned. I called the New York office, New York City office. No call was not answered. No one answers their phones anywhere. It goes to voicemail, or it sits there, or it goes to a menu and hangs up on you. They didn't return my call. I called the National Center. All of these during business hours, and no, I didn't call at 4:30 or 4:35. I called early in the day, so there's plenty of time to respond to me. And they've never responded to any of this stuff. And this is what happens when these refugees in Rochester try to go to the refugee center. The door is locked. It's only by appointment. That is horseshit. That is not the role of Refugee Assistance Center. How the fuck are you assisting refugees when your door is closed? Your job is not to fleece them of money. And by the way, we've got some very serious potential allegations here about fraud going on here in Rochester. I'm not going to accuse CWS of fraud yet, but there's very serious indicators here that something is fishy, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Yeah. Yeah, Twin Falls is amazing. Charles, the crap is everywhere. The worker bees are different orientation leadership. Happens South Africa, the VA wins misguided, but the workers are still ANC. Disaster. Texas meat grill will be much warmer. No, it's not. They're about to get a big ice storm in Texas. It's winter time, guys. Yeah, but I will film that. You know, those cattle thieves ought to have, some kind of electricity, just wake their ass up. There are South African refugees in Utah, Courtney. I've asked them to reach out to me, and I told them, and I put them in touch with you just to say hi. There are some refugees there. Not a lot yet, but there are some. And they're very lucky. I've talked to a couple of the ones in Utah, but they haven't followed up and said they want to be in touch. Yep. So, hey, Rohan, how's it going? So, how's the hip? The hip was okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So, yeah, where there's smoke, there could be fire. So, let me just tell you something that's very disturbing. I put in a video I just published. Hopefully, you'll go watch my video and not ignore it because I'm telling you this now. But here's the bottom line. So the refugees were telling me today that when they arrived, the refugee case officer said to them, this is not a red state. And the refugees are like, huh? They had to ask a South African who'd been living here, what's a red state? What does that mean? They obviously weren't very tuned to politics. Dogzilla, you're still here. Everything's good. Have you been to Denmark? I have. Dozens of times. It's a beautiful country. But their politics are messed up because they're run by leftists. Leftists who lost control of Copenhagen for the first time since 1938, by the way. Unfortunately, this imbroglio with Trump over Greenland is probably going to strengthen Frederiksen, who doesn't deserve to be in office. I do hope that's a snowplow. It is. That was really loud. What is the difference? Sure, Marley, and I've talked about that many, many times. RSC is the Regional Support Center in Nairobi. They are a subsidiary of Church World Service. Church World Service is their owner, so a subsidiary. Okay, it's like Rheinmetall is in Germany, but they have a subsidiary in South Africa. Yes, Denmark is a beautiful, peaceful place. It absolutely is. It has been peaceful since my ancestors quit sacking Paris and took Normandy in compensation for the money they couldn't get by robbing the churches. Yeah, so it has been peaceful for a long time. But they're a bunch of wusses. They fold up like a cheap tent. When the Germans came in 1940, they surrendered the entire country in like 10 seconds. Virtually didn't fight. Just watch the vid. Not a red state. What's up with that? Exactly. Yep. That's where the socialists and the workers have opinions because it's a job, nothing more. Exactly. And they should be admonished for that and not allowed to do that. So let me translate what that means. So I wasn't there, but obviously to me, what was said in that conversation is the following. This is what the person meant. This isn't a red state. We hate fucking Trump here. And he lets you white people come in from South Africa. So fuck you. We're not going to do shit for you. That's what I got from it. I mean, just from that one word. Why in the world? If this was done by a U.S. government employee, the Democrats would be howling, Hatch-Act, Hatch-Act, Hatch-Act. You can't put politics in a government job. Well, you can't put politics in a contracting job. You're providing a service to the American taxpayer. You cannot interject your bigotry and your hatred and your political views into that service. But here's the thing. That may be the case. It may not be. But it certainly leads me to believe it is. But I also have a concern here that this is the way they treat all refugees here. If they're from Pakistan or Bangladesh or India or Somalia or Uganda, the DRC, I suspect they treat all of them this way. But the difference is none of those people speak English, except the Indians. But they shouldn't be refugees. You're getting paid for a job. Lift your asses and do the work. Exactly. Good Lord. The plow keeps hitting the pavement out there. Well, that's what I said, Anton Mulder. If that's how they treat South Africans, I wonder if they're doing that to all refugees. So I'm going to go to refugee assistance place tomorrow and ask them. I said, hey, I want to know, are there other refugees, you guys, not them, but a place that helps refugees? There are refugees here that have gotten help from Church World Service. I'd like to hear about their experience because I want to be fair. I mean, I'm objective. If you were there tonight with refugees, if any of the refugees in the chat, you can confirm what I said. Refugees obviously are concerned and not emotional, but they're definitely have a vested interest in several times. I said, okay, but I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. The CWS, I have to give CWS the benefit of the doubt. And I said that several times. All the refugees can attest to that. And that's what I'll do. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But there's very serious concerns here. Oh, there'll be no attacks on Greenland, Dogzilla. There'll be no attacks. There's no need. Who are you going to attack? We just have to land a Marine rifle platoon in the towers. All you have to do is land a Marine rifle platoon in Nook, and it's U.S. territory. Simple as that. That's all it takes. Steam a cruiser into the harbor and hoist the American flag. It's all over. Denmark won't defend Greenland. They won't defend it from Russia, and China not going to defend against an American incursion. And the European Union won't defend it either. The advance party of 28 people is not going to defend it. And the main body of a couple hundred isn't going to defend it. And this is the problem. I keep seeing comments from people in my videos and elsewhere on social media saying, oh, NATO will defend Greenland. When will it start? NATO is 80 years old. They haven't ever defended Greenland. We protected Greenland during the Second World War. We do have a base there, but it is a space base, not an operational military base with troops or naval forces, Dogzilla. See, once again, it's a good question, but it's an uninformed question. You shouldn't have to answer that question. Our base located, Piftuk, it's called now, it used to have a different name, way up in the northwest part of the country, is not positioned to defend Greenland. It's there for space base, and it was part of the North American Air Defense NORAD early warning system during the Cold War. Yes, I am working my ass off, Light Rain. That's right. I mean, how many videos have I done today? I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, so the U.S. CRI, Committee on Refugees and Immigrants, in Twin Falls is an amazing organization. And so I can also see International Refugee Council, or is that what they're called, IRC, in Modesto, may not be amazing, but they are amazingly responsive, and they do a great job responding to my questions, and I appreciate that. There are some good folks out there who are doing their job and do it well. There are also a lot of turds out there. So I've got the one prepared video tonight, which I did just before this went live. Hopefully that'll get some attention. And then I did today 4 lives. What did I do today? Well, today's still the 19th. I did the news, then I did 1, 2, 3, 2 on the road, 1 here at the hotel, and then this one here. So that's 4 live streams today. So I'll bring you more tomorrow, probably a bunch of short live streams tomorrow. In Harrisonburg, Virginia, they are still working with Arabic refugees. I didn't think Muslims would work at CWS, but I guess there's several. No, Rohan, of course they do. Of course they do. I thought you were in Kentucky. When are you talking about Harrisonburg, Virginia? I'm confused, Rohan. I thought you were in Kentucky. So, yeah, no, lots of former refugees work for these organizations. And in many cases, it's a fair argument. Who are you going to find better? Other than somebody that's already been through the process, has had your shoes on before. They know what it's like to be a refugee. They know what the things they've gone through. Now, one of the challenges for South Africans is that there are no established South African refugee communities here, whereas Afghans and Somalis have these communities all over the country, and they can rely on those who came before them. You guys are not in such a great situation. But how you guys like the fact that I'm just destroying the fake legacy media narrative in South Africa and here in the U.S.? So I've had people with European passports, a safe haven. I've had people who are black on the program. I've had people of color on the program. I've had adopted children on the program. I have people with medical disabilities and infirmaries. It's amazing. All the lies that were told about the FEMA tents, you won't be welcome in America, this is a stunt. It's just meant because Trump's a white supremacist. Well, if he's a white supremacist, he's not a very good one, because if you want to breed white people, bringing colored people and Indians over here is not the best way to do it. It's kind of counterproductive if you're trying to have a white supremacist country. I don't know Blue Knob. Never heard of it. Change the base or build another, whatever, include NATO. Well, NATO doesn't want to participate. NATO has never been there. NATO has had 80 years to participate in the defense of Greenland, as has Denmark. Yep. Well, not the Baltic. It's coming more accessible from the Atlantic Ocean. Yep. A shadow drive into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. Why a retired colonel crusaded champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless in the world of lazy sheeple. Your last name was just brilliant. Multi-races, Cockpot 24 is crickets. Yep. Unfortunately, no other podcast, even Truth Report, is sharing these interviews. No. Notice that? No. You know why? Do you know why no other broadcaster in South Africa is talking about this? Do you know why? Because it's not in anyone's interest. It's not in their interest. It isn't. I'm not criticizing. I'm just telling you there's a reason why people aren't reporting these things. Because if people know the truth, the U.S. will be flooded with colored Indian applications and even some black South Africans. And so they don't want the truth to get out there. Isn't it interesting? No one's talking about this. Briefly read an article, briefly just plagiarizes my stuff and puts it up there when I talked about the Stoltze family. But they're the only ones that ran an article on it. And that's not a real news site. They're just they're like the page 3 girls, that sort of thing. So no one's covering it. And I predicted that. That wasn't hard to predict, because they've been lying to you for a year. Every one of them has been lying to you for a year. This is a gimmick. This isn't real. This is for Afrikaners. This is for white people. This is for farmers. It's all lies. And it's been lies for the whole year. And who told you that from the very beginning? The reality of this program. Look no further than right here. Do you know why? Because I'm honest and I don't have an agenda here. That's the thing. These hate wankers, I'm not talking about other content creators, but these other people keep talking about agendas. And this guy, CIA, really? CIA? You think the CIA wastes its fucking time on South Africa? Got a very high opinion of yourself. It doesn't. Much more interested in infiltrating Iran North Korea, China, and the censorship capital of the world, the United Kingdom, not South Africa. And you sure as hell aren't going to do with an overt guy who's a retired intelligence operator who shares his entire career, which is easily checkable, on his CV. Having a YouTube channel. People will believe anything. They're so stupid, I swear to God. It's a fucking goat. No, baby, it's just a goat. No, it's a fucking goat. This so-called colonel. The thing that kills me about it is I've accomplished more in 5 minutes than most of these turds have accomplished in their entire life, and they just got envy. Yeah, exactly. I like that. The colonel, a man that makes misinformation tap out. That's a good one. I got to save that. Of course, I'm waiting for all the ones that come from Mad Max. He's got a bunch of them. Okay, Windows 11 I hate. I can't get through this stupid-ass menu. I got to go through 9 steps just to get where I want to go. I want to get to Windows. I don't Word. I want Windows. Where's the Windows apps? Oh, now they listed under the actual app name, which is what they should always done. So MNO. Okay, that snowplow is starting to get irritating. It's really annoying. Oh my goodness! It opened up every file I've had open ever on this program. The window. Okay. All right. So this is going to be. What did you say? The colonel, the man that makes misinformation tap out. There we go. It's great. That's good. Yeah, no, the Truth Report is not going to cover this because they don't want to be associated with it. And I work with the Truth Report. I'm a founder of that business. Yeah. Just my thought. Can the U.S. just build a big naval base in Greenland instead of buying the whole continent? It's not a continent, Bloodcope. It's just an island. But yeah, they could. They could. They should build 3 naval bases, or at least 2. One in the extreme northeast, one in the south. Yep, they absolutely should. And then Denmark and the United States should have round-the-clock ships there, where they can see the truth about South Africa and telling what's your channel. Well, thank you for that, Charles. Yeah, tell them. Tell them they should come here. Become a subscriber. Help me grow. I really appreciate people in America watching the channel because if they watch the ads, it really helps with revenue. MSN has stopped being neutral a long time ago. Yep. Jeremy, need a break. I got you. Welcome back, Jeremy. How are things in Indonesia? Chris is goading about. Do you mean gloating? Respect where respect is due, and use our respect, Colonel. A walking media lie detector. Well, thank you so much for that. A walking media lie detector. I like that. You guys are great. Detector. Exactly. By the way, last night, man, I wound up binge watching all but the last episode of this series with James Franco and this hot Canadian actress. Oh, she's so hot in the show. Anyway, but the story is compelling. It's called 11/22/63. It's based off of Stephen King. I don't like Stephen King novel, but it's about a guy who's able to travel back in time. He winds up spending several years in the past trying to stop the assassination of John JFK. It's amazing, really wild story, but it's kind of a sad and creepy one. But I'm down to the last episode. I binge watched the others because I couldn't sleep last night. So yeah, it was pretty wild. 11/22/63. What a wild show. The South African. Oh, okay. Let me see. I haven't seen that one. The South African. The South African. I have a hard time finding stuff when I go there. ESCOM. Oh, there it is. Colored African refusing to speak out. We're tired of lies. Oh, Megan Funderheaver. A Western Cape colored Afrikaner family has spoken out in the decision to join the U.S. refugee settlement program. The colored Afrikaner family has spoken out about the decision to take part in the U.S. refugee resettlement program helmed by President Trump. Western Cape family is currently in the U.S. where they've settled down in South Dakota. They're part of over 1,000 South Africans who have been successful in the program, which is open to white Afrikaners and racial minorities. That's truthful. Thank you so much for that. Speaking to U.S. Intel analyst Chris Wyatt, Wellington couple, Anthony and Elvira, and their 2 children talk about their new life in America. We want to set the record straight. We're tired of the lies. Apart from struggling to adapt to the cold and mist in the caves, mountains, and Cook sisters, the couple said they had no regrets about their move. Of their decision to leave the country, Grant said, "We don't see a future for our children in South Africa. It's going to be difficult to make a decent living there." The couple detailed how they were attacked and held hostage in their home in 2024. The government is not on our side. With the current climate, it looks like cases like that is going to escalate. They now live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Sioux Falls. Revealed he's determined to leave South Africa after news the refugee resettlement program broke last February. Yeah. And he said, claimed that anyone who doubted the refugees' experiences were sour grapes. Despite the overwhelming majority of refugees being white Afrikaners, stipulation resettlement program is not exclusive to the community or white people for that matter. As per the criteria, applicants need to be South African, member of a racial minority in South Africa. Here, finally, without quotations, thank you, Megan Funderhealer. Thank you. I've only been saying this for a year, and this is the first time anyone in print has actually said this. Yep. Let's see what the comments are. Well, let me see. Oh, here we go. This is very insane. People who is in Trump's side won't be tired of this, but other people will be. Like, I'm not in USA, but it's going to be a very bad end. Why is it going to be a bad end? People on Trump's side won't be. I don't even know what that means. This is wild. Yeah, it's wild because the truth is out there now. Hey, Rena, what's going on? The thing I know for a fact about South Africans is that anything new becomes a novelty toy. Once it wears off, they always return to where they find their comfort zone. Well, that's pretty true, Alan. Are they black minorities in this? Are there black minorities in South Africa? Well, it depends how you look at that. There are black South Africans who affiliate with the Afrikaans-speaking community, like Referenza, who's an Afrikaans performer. And there are black South Africans married to white South Africans, married to Afrikaners. They can come over. And in fact, if that's what you're getting at. Using the word refugee without quotation marks and also admitting the truth that this program is open to racial minorities. Well done. This is awesome. This is awesome. Thanks for sharing that, guys. I didn't see that. I haven't looked at South Africa. So the South African's more of a media site than Briefly is, but still. Okay, where the hell's my email at now? I gotta get back to my email. Should be in my mail now. Okay, there we go. I want to send that link to myself so I can send it to these guys. So they made news. They're going to find that interesting. That's not what I want. Okay, and I'll send it link to myself. I'm kind of doing things here and there on a laptop because I can't do it on the phone. The internet connections was good earlier. It was fantastic, but now it's crap. It's absolute crap. I don't know what's going on with the internet connections tonight. So I'm messing with it here. The death toll is 4,000 according to human rights groups, not 20,000 as some people claimed. So who knows how many people are dead in Iran. U.S.-based human rights activist news agency said on January 18th, the estimates of at least 3,919 people have been killed during recent protests, with another 8,949 additional deaths still under investigation. So it could be 12, 13,000. Yep. 2,109 people severely injured. And there are 24,669 people in detention. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. So, Max, 14 Rand. See, what's that? But I can't. I'll try. Oh, crap. See, it won't let me do that. Oh, I can't do it. Okay, there you go. Yeah. What the hell? Where's my camera at? Oh, come on. See, this is why. Don't send me stuff like that at night. Crap. Oh, damn it. Now we're all screwed up here. Oh, damn it. I got a blank screen here. This is, damn it. Why is the camera not on? Oh, man. My camera's not working now. See? Yeah, that's shit. Damn it. I'm oh, man. Where the hell's this at now? I can't even find it on my. I know you can hear me, but you can't see me. Kind of defeats the purpose of having a video. You can't see me. And I don't know why the camera's not coming up. Nice frame. Yeah, it's a lovely frame, isn't it? Okay, I need to get rid of that. Maybe that's the problem. Where's my camera at? Okay, show live video. It's not there. It's just gone. This is ridiculous. It's not a frozen image. There's no image. It won't come up. Most of us are patient. Well, I'm not patient. Show live video. I've just turned the video off. No, my night was fine until I played around with that stupid WhatsApp message. Damn it. I swear to God. And why is this not got the proper image? I loaded an image on here and it's got some stupid image in here. Oh, I see. It's frozen there. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's because I disconnected. Because when I went to WhatsApp, the stupid thing, I can't. I'm on my phone. Oh, gee, many crickets. Yeah, you say that 168 people. Let's see how many people here if I do it. And I have to set the whole thing up. It takes like 5 minutes. It's not easy. God bless it. Man, I know better than this. All right, I'm going to shut down and do it all over again. What a pain. Freaking, I don't know why that happened. That shouldn't have happened.